Testing, testing, testing. Great. We did it. We did it, y'all. So, remember in that one episode of the week I review where I talked about in and of itself, and I had that aside about that little bit about being impeccable timing or whatever? I was sitting in front of the camera at exactly 2:59, but then I was like, you know what, I should get some water. So that's why I'm late, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. Being exactly on time nowadays, it's really not that important, you know. But regardless, uh, it is the day that we live in. Are people talking? I mean, there's not a lot of people here, so the fact that I don't, the fact that there's no words by anyone doesn't necessarily mean anything. But let me just to be safe, let's open this this whole thing. Oh God, that's me. That's me. Okay. Hi, Phil. Good that we're on the air or whatever. Um, so happy Saturday. Lefeb, is that how that's said? I know I made fun of French accents in my last where do you live that right now is early? Advertisements are very annoying. That's why I subscribe to YouTube Premium. Hello, Mr. S. I subscribe to YouTube Premium, and I like it's one of my most expensive. Hello, Kwasi. Oh wow, we're getting all the hits in real early. What's up? I watched the interview with Mr. DeGaudio and Gaudio. Oh, you're Brazil. Jesus Christ, we have so many fucking Brazilians. K K K K K K K K K K K K K. Oh Jesus Christ, it's so sunny. Yeah, Willow, you already. I'm sure you can already hit a couple of things. So I'm moving soon. I actually put in a application for a lease yesterday. Actually, like 23 hours ago. How's Mexico going? So that'll be good, and the space that I will be doing these in will no longer be right next to a window, which is unfortunate because windows are good in natural sunlight and whatever. So I mean, I have to get approved, but I'm going 20 blocks south. It is I can send you it's like a building. I can send you. It's pretty, assuming I get it, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so that'll be, and one of the nice things is that that's a lot of people. I've been to Mexico twice, to the separate coasts. I did a video about Mexico. It was like literally my second video was because this apartment is very small, and the next apartment is actually not huge, but it's in a building with a lot of amenities. Like this apartment is fewer than 400 square feet. And so the next one is like 560 square feet, which is still very small for a lot of people. But it's a building that has like all this stuff. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it'll be, yeah, no, my Mexico video was literally episode 1.2, like on the first day. But the problem with the Mexico video versus like the Iceland video is that I didn't know I was gonna do a vlog necessarily because I hadn't fully committed to the idea of doing a YouTube channel yet at the point when I went to Mexico that first time. And and so, I had like some footage to cut to, but there was really nothing, versus like the Iceland video where I like actively was like, let's make a vlog, like let's try to do this correctly or whatever. So, whatever. It's about I stayed in Nuevo Vallarta, and so it's just sort of about that experience. Um, but yeah, but yeah, no, so we're moving to a new building. Yes, we have been in this space without, inside pretty much the whole time for the past almost year, and the 20 blocks is approximately a mile. So it brings us a mile closer to like Times Square. Um, we're no longer going to be in the Upper West Side. We're going to be in the like next neighborhood down, which is a fairly small neighborhood, I think, technically vertically, but um, we'll be a little closer to things. Um, honestly, my coping mechanisms have been that actually this has been one of my coping mechanisms. Um, like just having so like I don't talk to a lot of people. Um, I have very few friends. Um, like the only people I really talk to on a consistent basis are my colleagues. Um, and like only during work hours, like after 6 o'clock on Monday through Thursday and like 1 or 2 o'clock on Fridays, I like kind of don't talk to people much. So like every other Saturday, I have a couple hours with all y'all lovely folks. So like that's honestly been sort of one of my things. YouTube kind of goes back and forth between being like a coping mechanism and a thing that induces stress. So it's kind of conflicting there. I don't know. It's just sort of I sleep a lot. Um, man, I need to get back outside again. Like get to be able to do things. I need that real bad. But things do seem to be getting better, which is nice. Sounds like they're gonna verify the Johnson and Johnson thing today. Which or today, tomorrow, like in the next couple of days. I am, perfectly content to get that shot. So we'll see what happens, right? Um, but yeah, the yeah, I definitely interacted with more people before the pandemic because, like, before the pandemic, I hello, Mark. Oh, hell yeah, Phil! Congratulations. Um, so I mean, I used to spend a lot more time talking to people at work. Like I had a group of 3 people who I played Super Smash Brothers with at lunch literally every single day. So like absolute bare minimum. Um, but it's like it's different from like, okay, I do a little bit of chatting for, you know, I don't know, maybe an hour a day. Um, 2 hours like on and off versus like, hey, here's 30 minutes, you know, let's fucking play Super Smash Brothers. It's a very different vibe, being in the office doing that. I could go up and talk to people who I don't, you know, like talk to over Teams or whatever. And also, when I could meet up with people, I'd be like, hey, you want to go get lunch or whatever. People who I don't necessarily want to talk to, like on the phone, like people who, you know, I'm not like, but like I don't want to just like, sit there like on a Zoom call and talk with them, but are people who I sort of like being around, you know, um, it's not a thirst trap. It's literally the cover art for my music, for my new thing. The cover art made by Willow, actually. Um, so you know, I mean, I guess technically, oh yeah, right. You can't see the fact that I'm wearing pants. I don't know, but no, it's not a thirst trap. Um, but I'll take that as a compliment that it's implied that way. Um, but yeah, no, I used to like, I used to get food with people who I sort of like being around. Um, and yeah, yeah, no, it's a very different vibe, and I definitely miss. Uh, oh, can't it? I mean, I guess it could be a thirst trap. I mean, the thing is, it's more. Um, so originally, it was going to more clearly just be the cover art, and then like also be a couple of things, like other things. But then I realized it would be funny. So the comment that is in the mirror, um, someone was like, blah, 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 blah. And I said, I love that for you. And then he's like, you can't even be funny, ironically. And the joke is that I wasn't being ironic. I loved the fact that I made his life worse. That was great for me. But, he said his whole thing, and I was like, oh, great. This will make for a great thumbnail. And he definitely did not hate subscribe just to see if I did, in fact, put it in a thumbnail. But I ain't a liar. I ain't about to be ain't about to lie about that shit. So, but then I was like, oh wait, I can like make them appear in the mirror, and then it's like, oh wait, these negative things are being reflected back at me. Oh, it's so fucking meaningful. So I pushed I sort of pushed into the thing. So I guess it actually looks more thirst trappy than the than the actual cover art on its own. So uh like I had to decide how much clothing I wanted to wear in the cover art. Um because I went back and forth on this. Um and Willow only ever saw the one that she has. So just for context, so everyone understands what we're talking about. Damn it, how do I? Ugh, I have to find it. Did I put it on this channel somewhere? I totally did. Let's go to this bad boy. Yeah, there it is. So, it's like you can see I mean, you can't specifically see what it is, but I'm wearing actually the same sweatpants I'm wearing right now. And I did take a version where I was only wearing underwear, and I did seriously consider doing one just straight up naked. But that felt excessive, frankly. Um, no, it wasn't really inspired by anything. Um, it's just what I did. No, my point is that I didn't do any of those things. Like I ultimately decided to be like the least thirst trappy version of this image that I had sort of initially conceptualized. Um, um, but yeah, so that was that. It ultimately it felt like wearing pants made the most sense. I actually it was a bit of a back and forth with Willow because she did not agree with having the picture of me versus she had originally made a sort of like a um like a silhouette because I had originally been like, oh, let's do a silhouette. Um that was, didn't have like human proportions or anything. And I was like, you know what? I want it. If I'm a thirst trap now, I definitely wasn't a thirst trap in 2017. Thank you. Um, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Kwase. She was like, ew, uh, get out the way, bitch. That's how that song goes, right? I know how that song goes. I haven't watched Malcolm and Marie yet. Someone asked me this yesterday, actually. I considered watching it last night, but then I watched Judas and the Black Messiah instead. I will. Uh, I I'm going to watch Malcolm and Marie. The problem is it came out and I was not like around um, when it came out, and so I felt like I kind of missed the initial like hit, and I was like, you know what, maybe it's probably not worth reviewing at this point. And I don't really know. I don't know that that's necessarily true. Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah is real fucking good. Um, I read an interesting article earlier today from a black communist, like sort of sounds like someone who is heavily involved with whatever the modern incarnation of the Black Panthers is about how that film they didn't feel went deep enough into the man's real politics, which is interesting because I thought he was pretty specifically anti-capitalist. Um, than this person did. But I guess, if you are explicitly communist and you want to hear people being explicitly anti-capitalist, like I can see why it would be uh disappointing. Yeah, no, but yeah, to Willow's point, I mean, I totally understood her disagreement, but I felt pretty strongly that I should be in it, and the reflection was like the last thing that got added, and that really like made all of the difference and was the thing that convinced her. So, I was like, I believe in myself. Um, yeah, no, I thought they actually did a solid, job of making sure that like he's specifically against Alex. Alex with an X. Did you just call me Alex? Oh God, that's so rude. But also, hi, Aaron. I know who you are. I know you're from South Africa. I was about to say, how's the South African variant doing? Hello, sir. Um, yeah. Um, I wish they'd shown more of the I wish they'd shown more of like the Rainbow Coalition because like that whole thing was super interesting. So in Judas and the Black Messiah, they show how like the Black Messiah, gets people from like the Puerto Rican, you know, uh gangs and like the young patriots who um like a bunch of like angry white people and like gets them to like work with the Black Panthers. And it's like, that is so fucking interesting. Like that would be a great movie. And so I did think that they put a little too much emphasis. I wish it was like the Black Messiah and Judas. Like I wish less time was spent with Lakeith Stanfield's character and more was spent with Daniel Kaluuya. But in any case, it's a really great movie. I highly recommend it. So yes. I'm very glad that we don't have so I do have American fans. Very few of them come to these live streams. But they do exist. The only people who come to these, like, I think on average, there are maybe 2 Americans who come to these streams. The vast majority of people are from, yeah. I mean, we got Canada, South Africa, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, the UK, obviously. Let's see. Do I see anyone else whose locations I know? Yeah, I mean, we've had people from Egypt, Indonesia, South Korea. Although we don't tend to have, oh, hello. Yeah, we don't tend to get too many Asian folks in here anymore. I know I am sorry. That's why I said Germany. I was calling you a fucking sun. It's so inconsistent. So I don't want to like change the exposure. So are you not in the UK? Are you in the part of Ireland that is in the UK or the part of the Ireland that's not in the UK? So yeah, but I mean the reason we don't get a lot of Asian people is because it is like 3 or 4 a.m. in South Korea right now. So like when I used to do these, because I when I started doing these, like the first one I ever did was at like 6 p.m. my time. I was like right after work, and I was just like, "Fuck it, let's do something." And those had fewer European people and more American and Asian people because they were awake. And when I ultimately decided, like because I was doing it's like one Wednesday and then the next Saturday and then the next one, it was like 10 days basically. And then eventually I was like, you know what, let's just do this every other Saturday at now it's tends to be the same group of mostly now it's just mostly Europeans and South Americans. Yeah, I mean there were never a huge number of Americans, I don't think. Although I do think there were more when there were later in the day. This is so annoying. So Jakob, I assume. Hey Gabby. Jakob, yes, absolutely. The recognition of foreign cinema is absolutely horrendous. I mean, I live in New York. Wow, so fucking sunny. You're just gonna fucking have to deal with this. The sun is gonna go away in like a couple minutes, and you can just deal with a little bit of overexposure in the interim. But also, Kojo, cool. I did not know you were from Ireland. No, we have a south-facing apartment. Sunrise, 1927 is a fantastic movie, and one of my favorite cinema-going experiences was seeing Sunrise played with a live piano accompaniment. So I saw like it was like a oh, whatever, man, living there. Good golly. Um, so yeah, but no, seeing sunrise with a hi Julia, uh, with a live piano accompaniment was like one of the coolest things I've seen in a movie theater. I loved that, like really really loved that. And it was a 35 millimeter print, so like what it meant was when it cut, because usually when you're seeing a 35 millimeter print, unless it's like the most perfect, um, the most perfect, like, projection thing, there's going to be like a fraction of a second, uh, during the cut where like the audio cuts out or like something gets cut off or whatever. But when it's a live piano, it doesn't really matter how the quality of the projection's going because the audio is completely consistent throughout, which was very cool. Um, you know, um, yeah, I really like silent movies. I haven't seen, a billion. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, Sunrise has I remember like seeing it again because I saw it when I was in school, and then I like, saw it again, and I was like, there is some incredibly complex filmmaking in that movie. Um, like there's this like stuff that it's like green screen adjacent, but like in the 20s. It's fucking wild. Like I was just like blown away seeing it again. My favorite silent film is The Passion of Joan of Arc, which is just like, goddamn, what a fucking trip of a movie that is. I have seen The Last Laugh. That was like one of the first movies to use handheld cameras. That's 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 most of what I remember about it, to be honest. But I do know that, and I just remember like certain sequences. It's been more than 10 years now since I've seen it because I saw it in my first. Um, yeah, Last Laugh. We watched Last Laugh. I don't remember if we watched Nosferatu in as part of our class. Um, we might have. I know I watched it, but I don't remember if I watched it for something or if I just watched it because I wanted to see Nosferatu. But yeah, The Last Laugh was also the one that we were shown. Um, uh, but yeah, no, Americans do not know international film particularly well. Um, and it's depressing, right? Like, I mean, I watch an above average amount of international film for sure. For a for an American. And I mean, I don't even watch as much as I would like to. Really, I don't even really watch as many movies as I'd like to. Um, I would watch more, but it's like I don't really like watching movies when I'm tired I um because I feel bad about not being able to give it my full attention in a way that I don't feel bad about not giving other things my full attention. And so a lot of nights when I'm tired, um, I just like don't watch movies a lot of nights when I, could and should or whatever should. It doesn't matter. Right. Ultimately, you know, um, I don't actually remember the fact that it only has um, one title card. That's really interesting. Um, huh. But yeah, folks, go watch some FW Murnau. That's recommendations. Um, recommendations from me today. One of the nice things about the next apartment that even if I did have that, fingers crossed, we should get it. There's really no good reason for us to be rejected, but I mean, I guess it's technically possible. Um, but they have fiber internet, which has really good um, uh, has which will have, way better upload speed, so I can like use OBS and like instead of needing to like because the problem right now is that my camera is hooked up via USB to my computer and I cannot change the settings. I have to literally unplug it from the computer, change the settings, and then replug it in, and it's just a fucking hassle. But once I have like internet that I can, run um, then I can just run the camera and change it as I need to, uh, if it were I to need to do that, which would just make things way easier. And also, that means I can do things like fucking pull in TikToks and we can just fucking watch TikToks and shit. Be dope. Uh yeah, I decided to not um call out the fact that I am an expert. Uh I mean, theoretically, I would like to I think it would be fun to just have like a let's just go through my liked TikToks and just like see what you can learn about me from what I find funny. Um, because I feel like that tells you a lot about a person's like what do they like on TikTok. Um, that video would absolutely get copyright claimed. Um, so as long as it doesn't get taken down, because I actually had a live stream get stopped because I was just like because I was playing some music in the background. Um, um, yeah, but oh yeah, but yeah, Phil, how are you enjoying those those rom coms? They're real fucking good, right? I mean, just everything in South Korean movies are really fucked up. Um, and I mean, Bong Joon Ho has talked about this. The fact it's like, you grow up, especially because like all of the filmmakers who are part of the Korean New Wave were like alive during the revolution and like the power struggles and like the tortures like the torturing like all this shit that happened in like the 80s, Gwangju uprising, like all that stuff. And so like it's like a society that's collectively traumatized by its history. And so just everything is like filtered through this incredibly bleak lens. Um and a lot of stuff ends up being super nihilistic. Um and that's not true about everything, obviously, but um I think that definitely you can definitely feel that. Um it definitely has like it's definitely um yeah, A Taxi Driver is a really interesting movie. So there's actually like 5 movies about the Gwangju uprising. I think I've seen 2 of them. Um, I have acquired copies of some of the other ones, but I haven't seen them yet. Um, but A Taxi Driver is really interesting because, you know, it's really good until the last 20 minutes. Um, at which point it's like, oh, let's make this a fucking dumbass action movie with taxis that explode. And it's like, fucking what? Like, why would you do this? Like who thought this was a good idea? Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, obviously, yeah, it's a very good movie, and it's obviously talking about a very important time. Um, and you know, yeah, no, the let's see, movies about the Gwangju uprising. Um, because I think um, the guy who made Save the Green Planet did one, I believe, right? That's um, really you gonna be like that. Um, yeah. So okay. So those. Oh, Have I seen The Attorney? I think I have. Um, yeah. So okay. So there's at least 10. There's A Pedal, which I've downloaded and haven't watched yet. Oh, that was the guy. I think that's the guy who did um, whatever. Then 26 Years, The Attorney, um, which is like May 18th. Excavator. Um, fuck off. Scout, A Taxi Driver. Is Peppermint Candy about Going to Uprising? Single Spark. Yeah, so there's just a lot of um um I mean people eat, you know? Or do you mean are you talking about like mukbanging? Because the reason people like those is really bleak. I think um I feel like part of the reason people don't eat in movies all that much, in American movies at least, is because eating sucks. Like on set, because you're just like you have to eat over and over and over again. The food gets cold, in between takes. Like a dinner scene is like the fucking worst possible thing. Um and it just seems possible to me that they just care less in other places. Um I also think there are a lot of um a lot of these movies have longer takes. And so it's not like you keep cutting to um it's not like you keep cutting. Yeah, no, I mean Hannibal must have been fucking awful to shoot, because it's like you have this like amazing looking food, but then it's just like it's freezing cold by the time you're actually eating it. One thing I learned about Song Kang Ho, which I find really interesting, is that apparently he does like every subsequent take differently, which apparently makes editing around him a total nightmare, because like he's just constantly changing things. Um oh really, Kojo? Yeah, no, the Guangzhou uprising is intense. I mean, it's like their version of Tiananmen Square. Um that's hilarious. Um Good for Lawrence Fishburne. um that's very funny. Ugh. Um but yeah. Um Yeah, I mean, oh, actually, technically, Sunny deals with the Guangzhou uprising slightly, uh, you know, which is possibly my favorite Korean movie, as I like to say, just to be that guy. The sun is like so close to being behind a building. It's really annoying. It's like no longer going to be on my face in like 5 minutes, like at all, even if it's bright out, but it might be on the back wall, whatever. The building I'm moving into has like 1,000 units or something. It's I'm gonna be living a totally different life. Uh, life over there. Hello, hello, Kitsuna. Um, but yeah. Um, who's listened to my song? Hmm. I know Willow has. Yeah, 1,000. Um, Uh, oh yeah, Aaron, you missed. Willow actually made a bingo, um, made a bingo card thing, uh, and there's a couple of moments. Yeah, it's how it's. You know what? We're just gonna play it. That's where we are. We're gonna listen to my song together, and you can watch me mouth along because I think it's a good song. I've lost all sense to tell if the prescriptions are working. Orange bottles filled with pills and shelves to make me stop hurting. I am learning every day, feeling exactly the same way. What else is left to say? Maybe I get what I'm deserving. Time is pressed into my back like a knife, pushing me into a starless night. Regardless if I'm thinking right, the darkness suffocates, my breathing gets tight, got no senses to fight. I reach out blindly without finding anything that might return my light. But that seems unacceptable when I am looking at my lot. Contemptible even for someone who was born with what I got. To pass up the opportunity put unto me, did I miss the shot and slap the face of those that society never gives a spot? Taught to be the protagonist, but I'm clearly off the path. Thought to just be adequate and barely manage that. Want to be compassionate, but I'm not sure what that takes when I am caught in this paralysis. I've lost myself to face. Yeah, a privileged upbringing that the fucks with your head when your head is fucked up already. Cause you've seen all the good things that they should bring. How the fuck are you not happy? And you don't know what you care, so you have to grin and bear while internalizing hatred, but where you can't share it. So you just stare in the full-length mirror, judging every glaring flaw to your cause to tear it. How dare I think this song, my stress, is anything but worthless? I confess I'm depressed and I wrestle with the best method of expressing my mess. I get why sadness is left for comedy. Frankly, it ought to be like, what kind of wannabe Tom McDonald project do I gotta be to say this unironically? Honestly, past the point of apology. But I'm so sorry. But should I be? What am I apologizing for? For being me? I don't know what to do anymore. It's exhausting every time I gotta tell someone I'm fine, even though we know I'm lying. But I promise I am trying. I'm not the kind to reach out, locked up in a mind confined, I can't shout. So in this guise of mine here now, I'm expressing the cries that I have played down the only way I know how. Life is hard when your brain fucking hates you. The punishment, it wants to face you until there's nothing left but the late you. But you can't let that shit overtake you. As much as I've wanted to give into madness, trap my thoughts that haunt me, I know how it happens. The voices are calling, I can't hear them laugh, but that's not how this story ends. I'm not cracking. So that's my song. It it is on TikTok, by the way. If you look it up, it is there. So yeah, feel free to go make it hashtag viral. Um, Willow put it in a TikTok. Um, I'll play it again later. Just hang on. In fact, I will actually do it live later. No, no, man, we got like another hour and a half to go. Jesus Christ. Um, now I'll like actually do it alongside the music later, just for fun, so you have that to look forward to, I guess. No, I had to fix the light. It's getting a little dim now. Um, but yeah, so that's the song. I've been working on that for a long time. Not those specific lyrics I worked on for like 4 months. I think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this before, but Willow and I guess actually our partner are the only people who heard a totally different version of the song. Like the same, it's the same beat that I bought, but like I had a whole different set of lyrics that I had originally done, and then I recorded like properly. Like and I didn't, um, you know, well, Willow's the true number one super fan, so, um, uh, but I I recorded it and I listened to it and I was like, oh, this song is bad. um, I just like it didn't come together the way I had thought it would. Um, and so I that was at the end of December. Um, and so I actually made the song shorter because the track that is based on is actually 3.5 minutes long. So I like cut out a minute of it, and then I basically rewrote everything. Uh, there are there are 4 lines that remained throughout. Um, is that even true? The only lines that definitely like the 2 lines that did not change like at all from the time I had them to the end was um I've yeah, what the shit, where is it? Um a privileged upbringing that fucks with your head when your head is fucked up already because you've seen all the good things what they should bring. How the fuck are you not happy? That was like the like core of the song, and I also think it like works like the rhyme internal like the internal rhyming and everything like the flow of it was like exactly what I wanted it to be. And so that one um was uh like I was like, okay, everything else can change, but um I'm going to keep these 2 lines. And there are certain things that like sort of stayed conceptually the same. Like the first 2 lines have been conceptually the same pretty much the whole time, but like the actual language I used changed. But they were like about the same thing, just not said in the same way. But those 2 lines have been there for like 4 months, 3 months, 4 months. I mean, I basically started working on this. Actually, it was probably 5 months. Like shortly after I finished month 6, I decided to start working on that, and then it just sort of happened slowly. My hope is to do more things more quickly this year. Like I want to just get more stuff done, you know. Um, to Gabby's point from however long ago it was, yeah, my new Instagram picture is my new artist headshot, um, which I'm gonna show you like a picture I took while I was well, I didn't produce the music, but she did do the album cover. No, the beat was made by some fucking Russian dude whose email no longer works, which is awkward. But he did this. He did the beat for my first song, this song, and then the one that will probably be my next one. I'm gonna show you a photo that's that's like weirdly intense. Um, like just because of the way my phone like did the HDR lighting. Um, this is this is what I looked like while I was doing like that photo shoot. So like you could see, I just like set up a black thing. And yeah, I was wearing an A tank, but I decided like when I was actually looking at the picture, I was like, oh, that looks kind of weird. So I just cut it off at the neck. So it ended up being a little closer than I had intended. But I just I didn't think the shirt looked good when I pulled it into whatever um, Photoshop. That's the one. That's the thing I used. And then I actually took it. I did it again and like added another light to the top of my head because like it kind of blends in. Um, that wasn't my apartment. Um, yeah, the whole Joss Whedon thing is really bleak. Um, I was reading the Jezebel article about that. I mean, I've read a lot of things about him recently, but I was reading the Jezebel article about that yesterday. Um, I really don't think this is a thirst trap picture. Um, but the reason I'm wearing a mask is that's just like a style thing. It's the vibe. The vibe of a sad rapper is fucking like, emo bangs and a mask, right? Um, so, I made it my it's now my like picture for everything. Um, for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's that. So, um, but yeah, no, that was a setup, and it's funny because I actually bought lights. I bought like the black background specifically for that picture because I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like. Um, you know, and I like didn't do it. Like I got all the lights and stuff like a while ago. I spent like $600 on shit so I could take that picture, and then like after I got all of them, it took like 4 months for me to actually like set everything up and like go through the process of doing that. Um, I mean, I use them for other things, except the muslin. I don't have any reason to use that currently. But yeah, no, finding someone who you think is one of the good ones is dangerous. Um, right? Like I had a conversation with someone who was very disappointed in me personally. Um, because they expected me to be better about something than I am. Uh, yeah, they do call them wife beaters, but I call it an A tank. Um, you know, uh, because that's what they called them when I was on set. Like when I didn't own any, and then I was, I did the background work on Plot Against America back in the day, and they're like, you need to get an A tank or an A shirt or whatever, because that's what people wore in the 40s. And so I bought one, or I bought three, and then now I actually wear them all the time. Um, yeah, a wife bearer doesn't sound bad at all. It's honestly just sounds sort of confusing. Like I'm not really sure how that works. But yes, no, A tank is a much better is a much better term than wife beater, because I mean I definitely used to call them that, and then but I only called them the reason they call them wife beaters is because they are is associate. I At least this is what I've always thought that to mean, is they're worn by people who you think hit their wives. Like it's like if you see someone wearing that, it is because they are a wife beater. That was the sort of impression that I always got. And so I also called it that until I started wearing them, and then I didn't call them that anymore. Yeah. F- uh, Uh, yeah, I think it's mostly classist. Um, it's largely just like a poor people. And it's like it's not even just classes because it's specifically like white trash. I think that people sort of you know, like assume wife beaters, or as like the thing. It's like specifically like white people who live in trailers, or like, you know chew tobacco and like hold assault rifles while sitting on their like dilapidated porches. Like that's like the vibe that I used to think of when I thought of those. And now I don't think about anything because I wear them and that's how it works, right? Yeah, it really it just hits everything. Um right. Yeah, so um yeah, I mean, to someone's point above, like, I look fine with my shirt off, right? Like it's okay. Um, but I don't know that I would say uh muscles or whatever. Um, I definitely don't have like a rippling six pack or whatever. Um, but yeah, A tank, that's the fun. That's the way. Um, that's the way we do it. But yeah, no, I was actually watching a video. Um, I mean, I guess, but like you know, we're talking about defined muscles. No one cares about the muscles that people just have. I wasn't saying you were insulting me or praising me or whatever. I just was pointing out my own feeling on that phrase. Um, you know, uh, I was watching a video about this YouTuber named Zoe B who Thought Slime shouted out in the solidarity corner. Um, you know, um, I mean, she does say that. Um, but sorry, so this week has been like a lot for me. So obviously I released a new song, um, which that's cool. Uh, wanted to do that for a while. Um, um, I mean that's a sounds like someone who didn't want to put in the work to get uh a six pack, but sure, that's fine. Um, but also, what does having a six pack really mean? Um, there's like there's a point where it's like, oh, that's attractive, and then there's a point where it's like, oh, that's really not, and that's on every line. But I mean, also everyone is attracted to different things and likes different things. Some people like dad bods. I probably do not appeal to those people. I'm too skinny, and that's fine. I don't need, you um, like like specifically appeal to like a specific sort of thing. Um, which is, yeah, no, I mean, total shred is like, it's a lot. And also it's just so much work. Like, do other things. like, so it's so hard to like um put put that much to get like that. It's a lot. But anyway, so released a song. This is the conversation that's making everyone leave is talking about dad bods. That makes sense. So let's see how many subscribers I lost. Huh. I think I've gained 2 subscribers, so something's weird. So I don't know how that worked. Uh, and I'd like to point out that I brought that up in part because I knew it was on at least one bingo card. So you're welcome. Also, Baccarat. Still haven't watched it. I thought about it yesterday, but I watched Judas and the Black Messiah instead. Um, no, we're done talking about dad bods. I don't have any more feelings on that. But oh, I get it. Father figure, dad. That's clever. I'm very dense, and it takes a while for things. But that's funny. Like I like that's good. That's a good joke. Hi, Danielle. I was gonna tell her, but she didn't. Um, someone said I was talking about dad bods. And someone was like, "Oh, you mean father figures?" It's funny. So she appreciated it. Good joke. Yes, I was. I also Quase. Not. I said I watch a fair amount of foreign films, but I haven't seen as many as I would like. Thank you very much. But anyway, to finish the thought that I think I was starting. Um, um, released a song. Released the longest video on this YouTube channel by 12 fucking minutes. That was a miserable shoot. I fucked up so many times. Like Jesus Christ. And literally twice I was on the last line of like a section and I fucked up. Like, you know, I like mention, V for Vendetta or whatever. Um, and literally as I was saying, like the last sentence, Hugo Weaving's alliterative entrance monologue from V for Vendetta, and I fucked up the word alliterative. And it's like that's at the end of like 6 minutes. So it's like I got like 5 minutes and 55 seconds into this section, and then I fucked up. And then I did that again later. And it's just like I kept messing up. It was a very difficult shoot for me. And that was a lot. Um Derek Del Gaudio and his mother both liked my tweet about my video about the show. So that's pretty cool. Um, fun fact. Um, but yeah, so I did that. I did that ridiculous fucking thing. Um, uh, like is that the one about the like dude in the Nazi camp who's like is like it's okay. Like everything's fine as long as um right. Um yeah, that's like not great. Um Definitely my favorite Holocaust movie is Son of Saul, which is like the polar opposite. Um Son of Saul is like the polar opposite of Life is Beautiful. Um I was gonna say who's the first most famous, and then I remembered that I was just talking about him. All right. Yeah, I mean, we'll be here another hour probably, so later, man. Tschüss, as they say. Um, but yeah, but I did that, and then also I've been looking back at my feature film script. So, been doing a lot of stuff. Um, I had like a school friend who works as a like a script reader for some production company. Um, take a look at it, which was useful. So now I'm gonna like go back through it again with his notes in mind. Um, Son of Saul is incredibly depressing. Yeah. Um, So yeah, no, it's been a lot. This is the week that I'm like really trying to justify calling myself a multi hyphenate in my video, because like sometimes that feels more appropriate than others. That label. Um, it's interesting. So Alex, who may or may not still be here, um, sent me an interview with Delgado where he talked about, if he had to choose, what would he have chosen? Um, and he said he would have done something that like sort of bypassed the question. There's like he would have refused to limit himself sort of the same way I did, and like chosen something that was like sort of that was like not limiting, which I thought was interesting, because obviously that's ultimately what I did. Um, yes, yeah, I've talked about it before. My cabin in the woods type horror movie, um, which is not in like it is a cabin in the woods movie in sort of the most um the most broad sense, in that like literally it takes place at a cabin in the woods, but it doesn't really follow any of the specific tropes involved with a cabin in the woods, um other than sort of the general, wait, the woods are haunted, well that sucks kind of thing, which I mean is sort of inevitable. But beyond that, like it doesn't, there's only, for one thing, there's only three characters instead of five. Um, so you can't get the same archetypes. Um, I have so much respect for animators as someone who cannot draw at all. Um, like I find like that sort of art to be just so amazing, and I've always wished that I could draw. But yeah, just like um, it's just not my it's not in my skill set. Um, but yeah, no, I realized it was interesting because I got four notes on my script, like four sort of fundamental notes on my script, and I actually think I can address every single one of them with a single every single one of them with one scene. Um, so um, I mean, I think the difference is that the difference between 3D animation and 2D animation, I think, is that uh, 3D animation feels like it doesn't feel like it comes from a human, whereas 2D animation always feels like it does. Um, and I think that's like ultimately what it comes down to, like why people like 2D animation, or like the 2D animation aesthetic. Um, I think it just feels, I think it feels more human, um, or derived from humanity or whatever. Um, that's what I think. Um, it definitely has a different sort of character. That's for dang sure. I mean, a lot of 2D things nowadays are actually 3D, which is for sort of logistical reasons, which I find really fascinating. Um, you know, but the aesthetic, I definitely think, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, old Aardman stuff was actually like, and I mean, actually, the Lego Movie is another really interesting example of that, where it's like that movie is entirely CG, but you could sort of imagine it having been stop motion. Like like if someone had an infinite budget and like infinite time, that those movies would be possible practically. Um, and it just sort of like they weren't. But it's that kind of um yeah. Um yeah, so it's like, I think that, and I mean that's the whole thing with Baby Yoda, and why people love Baby Yoda so much is like, because he, in some scenes he is a puppet, and in the scenes where he's not, he's a CG thing that has been animated to look like a puppet, because people like sort of the tactility of that. Like they want it to feel like, I don't know, you know, if anyone watches the like, CGI VFX artists react. They've also done animators react, and stuntmen react on the Corridor Crew channel, and they have really cool, breakdowns of a lot of this stuff, and they talk about things like why Baby Yoda looks the way he does, and I think that's incredibly interesting. Yeah, yeah, I got it. Ugh. I Yeah, I mean, a lot of I find myself utterly bored by current Disney in general, but that's not going to stop me from seeing Black Widow in theaters. I'm going to be living very close to a movie theater. I actually already live very close to a movie theater. I'm going to be living close to a better movie theater. So that's fun. Um, like, but movie theaters, movie theaters are reopening here like next week, and I am not going to go immediately, but I feel like by mid-May, I will probably um by mid-May I'll probably feel good going into a movie theater. Um is Randy Wright's novel that thing that you tweeted, you DM'd me about, that I haven't watched yet, but your I've like saved it as a message request instead of actively accepting it, so that it reminds me every single time I look at my Twitter DMs that I should watch it. Is that what you're talking about? It is. That is what you're talking about. I will watch it. Um, now that I've uh, now that I am done with the Derek Del Gaudio video, I was waiting until I had gotten down all my thoughts on that thing. Um, I think the Uncanny Valley is definitely part of it. I also think it's just like less. I don't know. People are less interesting than things on some level. Uh, if you're animating something, why would you animate something that looks like a real person? I guess like make it not look real. Um, it's people are boring looking. Um, it is, yeah. I mean, it's very easy to make ugly. It's much harder to make not ugly human things in 3D than it is to make things. But also, I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about. So, um, I feel like in the original version of my review of In and of Itself, I like was going to talk more about that. There were like all of these things that I had intended to discuss, like, people who are $5 plus patrons have seen or have gotten access to this video, um, which is like another basically a story that I wrote for that video back when I thought it was going to be something different. And then like I completely changed the way I was structuring it. But like originally I had planned to sort of make it a series of like, these are labels I use for myself. And this is the first and so the story that I finished was um, you know, the like the first time I thought of myself as a New Yorker. Um, and it's that kind of thing. And I think total fucking idiot or something would have been on there. I feel like that's a point I make fairly often. Um, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Yeah, interesting. Um, good golly. I need to stop looking at my phone. Um, I mean, everything that Marvel does, like everything that Disney does, is designed to be sellable, right? Like every single thing that happens is like, what is the maximally marketable version of this thing? I'm assuming shattered means tired and not like horrendously depressed, or that's what I'm hoping it means. Anyways, take care, Willow. Have a good night. Um, the behind the scenes of Roger Rabbit is super interesting, like how they did like 2D animations. Okay, well, good. Yeah, shattered over here does not mean tired. Um, so glad that that's um okay, cool, good. That sound yeah. Take care, rest up, etc. Thank you again for the cover art. Just so everyone knows, I paid Willow for the cover art. I did not. I am not the kind of person who would take advantage of the fact that someone is a fan and like try to get free shit from them. So I just want everyone to be aware of that. That like when I say Willow designed it and like thank you, like this is not like this is a commissioned work. So just so we're clear. Um, I'm not damn straight. And it was super annoying because I had to figure out how to fucking pay in fucking pounds. um, but I did it. Um, so yeah. But no, take care. Take care, Willow. Good night, etc. Um, but yeah, shattered absolutely does not mean either drunk or tired here. It means incredibly depressed. Like if someone's dad dies, they would be like, I'm shattered or whatever. So, but now I know that when my like mostly UK audience, to someone's point from earlier, my audience actually is like the plurality is Americans. They just don't come to these for whatever reason. Um, Maybe they're all too busy watching like people who play video games on Twitch. I don't know. I don't know what people do um, with their lives. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Jesus Christ. Um, but we're not having an existential crisis. Not here, not right now, not today. That's a thing for another day. Yeah, I've heard knackered before, actually. And also it's probably the case that, like, um, if I heard someone say, "Oh, blimey, I'm shattered," um, that I would probably, um, feel differently about it. But, how was my British accent, all you remaining Brits? Did I do a good job? Thank you, Quasi, I'm sure. I'm impressed that you even noticed that I had an accent. I remember you saying that all white people sound the same to you, and that was it was one version of not not a fan. Hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a very specific. Um, that's fine. Um, I think I've mentioned I used to be able to sort of do a British accent, and then what I thought was a British accent. Um, um, the uh, then it just turned into a Tim Minchin accent, which is not a British accent. And then I lost even that. So yeah, I just like have no more British accent. No, because we were talking about accents and we are like, where do you come from? And I was talking about being American, and like some people are like, oh, I don't know. You just sound like a white person. Um uh yeah, so um but yeah, the point is never think that someone is one of the good ones because it just guarantees disappointment. Yeah, it's really interesting how many characters doing, like, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, right? Like I watched Judas and the Black Messiah, and like I actually, because my girlfriend did not know that Daniel Kaluuya was British, and so I like um showed her an interview with Daniel Kaluuya where he talked in his his the way he talks. And then we immediately watched him have like a hardcore Chicago accent, which was really distracting. Um, nice. Honestly, I'm not even very good at like masking the my existential dread. Like, you know, um like I definitely um yeah, just one of the many Brazilians um who comes to these. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, but yeah, the important thing. I've been thinking about getting a new camera lens. What I have to decide is like long term, do I want to stay in Fuji's thing? Um, like, do I want to stay in their ecosystem, or do I not? Because the more money I spend on it, the harder it will be to like leave it later on if I decide that I want something that's a little more video focused. Because there's certain very specific things that like Fuji cameras do a lot of things, but there's like you can't set them to remote turn on. Like my gimbal can't turn them on. Um, I think he's making an offensive joke about about Brazil. Um, but But yeah. Um, the whoops. I have a question for. So I don't actually know how many people in this saw my. Have watched my video about watched my video about in and of itself. But out of curiosity, those who were you surprised by what I said about the ring light in my asides? Phil is the only one here who I know definitely saw it. But I'm curious. Oof, we dropped below 10. Really hemorrhaging viewers now. Hell yeah. Um yeah, I keep seeing, people who like have their lights reflecting in their glasses. And it's just like, do better. Like, if you're gonna, you can actually see. It's interesting because the ring light you can actually see like in the frames, sort of. But you can't see the lenses unless they go like that. Obviously, I'm not using my ring light right now. Um, but like I make a very, you know, strong effort to like, I also have these like tube lights on the sides. Um, that again, I like whenever I set things up, I go like this to like figure out where I can actually like, put my and I actually think I move my head less than I used to, specifically because I'm worried about moving too far to make it so that my glasses reflect. So I've like made a more concerted effort to move less, like not move my face, but like move my um yeah, Aaron, shut up. Stop talking about Brazil. Um so um the yeah. Um but that's figuring out lighting is obviously big. And that's part of, I'm not going to have my like rear window in my next apartment, so I have to figure out how I'm going to design a background, but I have to like be in the space. So, but I don't know that I'm going to feel okay doing like a half measure there. So, um there might be sort of another gap after after I move at the beginning of April, while I like figure out what the background looks like. Because um, I mean, about that particular subject, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's bigger, but it's like the size isn't the issue. The issue is specifically having a background that's like interesting because, you know, um, I like there's like a section of the apartment that um right, Phil? Just think about people who get canceled. They always complain on their big public platforms about the fact that they're not allowed to, that they can't talk anymore. Um, the but no, I mean there will be more space for me to like set up. The question is literally what does my background look like? Because yeah, the asides is like a whole other process. Also, I think it's very possible at the next apartment I'm going to have to start turning and facing that way, to like do my asides because of where I think I'm going to be sitting, unless it turns out to make more sense that I like. Again, I have to get into the space and like figure out where everything needs to be. Um, I actually did a video a while back. Like I did a video about my process where I actually show what the setup looks like, including the fact that it like and showing actually how I did the asides. But at that time, the light was still in the same place. Um, the moving the light up is a relatively new thing. Um, man, get over yourself. Um, no one hates you. Just talk about other things. Um, the um, I mean, obviously you are a fake fan. You hadn't listened to my song, which you insulted like two things ago. Um, the thing about me is I'm very lazy. You know, I don't have the fucking effort to like put in to be this character. And frankly, I mean, let's be honest. If I was playing a character, I would choose one that's way more successful. Like I would choose one that like gets me a lot of views instead of one that gets me, a handful of views. Like you know, this is not a particularly lucrative uh character. Yeah, I like because I was talking about some um yes. Um yeah, no, I was like talking about rap or whatever, and then you were like, ew, gross. Like, or no, what it was is you had missed something and then you came in here and I was like, oh, you missed that. And you're like, oh, I don't think I did. And I was like, savage, or whatever. So something like that. It was I don't know, month and a half ago. Um, I don't have anything else to do, so I remember personal slights for an extremely long time. It's like the fact that I will never forget the fact that Gabby, the first time she came in, was like, "Who are you? Like, I don't know what, like, I don't know who you are or why I'm here." And I was like, "This sounds like a you problem." Um, and that's just I'm just forever going to associate her with uh will forever associate her with that um feeling um and or that moment. And it's just like I I mean it also um I don't know. I keep thinking about, so one of the problem, like, and this is a genuine thing I think I've been thinking about, like, as I think is like, oh, I want to release more songs, right? Is the fact that, and this is actually sort of what that song is about, is my life hasn't been incredibly difficult. Uh and that makes it hard to write like deep shit. And I don't really like flexing, which makes it hard to write superficial shit. And so, like, I haven't actually figured out what my middle ground is. Like, I don't actually know, you know, because, like, I mean, NF, right? NF I like NF a lot. His newer stuff he's getting a little too, like, in his own head, I think, for his own good. And, like, just trying to be sort of technical for um, you know, like, is like sort of being, as someone said, a lyrical miracle, sort of for the sake of it. Um, and Um, yeah, sarcasm doesn't really work. Um, Yeah, no, it's yeah, writing about being sad, writing about being sad when you're privileged is really complicated. And like I understand that like obviously mental illness happens to people regardless. Like it's you know like obviously I get it, but it's like that's a it's a like that's really like my primary inner conflict. A lot of the, I mean, also just sort of general trying to be better at not being a douchey white guy. Um, emo haircut. Um, yeah, and it's like not, yeah, we're not trying to, this is not the oppression Olympics or whatever. Like, but yeah, it absolutely is something that I get really into my head about. I mean, you know, no one here saw my second one man show. Um, was like really was sort of my first like really intense attempt to like grapple with that because even the first one man show like was you know because it was just me talking to myself. There's only so deep you can get with that, but like when you sort of when you separate it to be sort of like a third, you have like another person there being you and sort of taking on this fake role. um, it sort of expands the sort of commentary that you can make on yourself. Um, and you know, um, yeah, it's too bad only four people came to that show because I four plus the guy who like helped me with the technical stuff. Because it was a lot better than the first one. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of complexity. Like, there are definitely people who are not depressed who sort of hide behind the language of mental illness and whatever. But like, um, I mean, it's all complicated, right? Like all of it is just like, you have to figure out what is the right way to, um, what's the right way to be, um, whatever. I mean, it's not weird per se. I mean, part of the problem is like, let's be totally real. I like don't know that I could handle having a big audience. And I mean this like super genuine. Like if I had like a ton, like a ton of people, I think I would find that really overwhelming in a way that like I don't really think of YouTube as being overwhelming. Like it's like even when I get like stressed out about it, it's not like oh like the amount of whelm that comes from it is like not the thing that of all like it's their expectations that I place on myself, not things that I really worry about expectations other people have put on me. Um, and so I, make um, and so I wish I had, I wish I had a larger audience in general to the things that I do, but I don't really want a huge one. Just because I think, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of like sadness, happiness is a lot harder to come by right now. Oh, hey. Um, well, thank you, Disco Ball Glitter. Uh, we're talking about my sad art, Geese Breath. That's you came into talking about depression and privilege and whatever. Um and the size of an audience. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I'm happy that I can do that. Yes, yeah. I mean, Bo Burnham's thing again. Like, I started working on my review of Make Happy, and then I stopped because I mean, some of the stuff I talk about in the in and of itself review has some of the things that I was going to talk about in the Make Happy review. So what? So I'm sort of less clear on what that review would be. I still feel like eventually I have to write one. Um, yeah, no, I mean, my problem my problem around therapy, because whatever, TMI, it's fine. You guys know how many nipples I have. Um, the I don't have one right now. I had one for a while. I don't have one right now because I was looking to start, like I was like starting the process to find one uh about 11 months ago. And then all of a sudden I couldn't meet people anymore. And I've done like phone calls and stuff, and I just don't like that. And the fact that I have a tiny apartment makes it um makes it very hard because like there's no way to like isolate myself. Even in the next one, it's not like it's a again, it's not like it's a big apartment, it's bigger. Um and to answer this also, I fucking love Lincoln Park, man. Hybrid Theory was like one of my formative albums. Um, you know, and one thing that's really interesting is so they released a like a 20th anniversary. Um, hell yeah, accessory nipple. What's up? um, the uh, Hybrid Theory. They released like a Hybrid Theory 20th anniversary thing not too long ago, which has like an early version of In the End. Was it In the End? I think so. Which has a which is like the rap is completely different. Like literally like none of the lines are the same, and it's so fascinating. Um to just like hear like, oh, this is how this song was. At least I think it's In the End. um I don't know, they released a big thing. Does Harry Styles have 3 nipples also? Um, that's funny. I didn't know that. Um, but yes, also good luck in finding a therapist. I agree with what he has 4. Oh damn. Good for him. Uh, but yeah, no, finding a therapist is hard and complicated. Um, and my last therapist was fucking weird. Like I liked him well enough, but you know, really what I needed from him was someone who I could just sort of like say shit. Um, um, uh, hell yeah, we do. Always Stan. I'm excited for Olivia Wilde's next movie. I loved Booksmart, and I'm here for uh basic human, like having basic human decency Harry Styles in movies. Like that whole the fact that there was a controversy about like, you know, Harry Styles doing the bare minimum and Olivia Wilde being like, "I'm glad that at least he did that," is, like, such a fucking like, yes, it's ridiculous that people need to say, "Hey," um, but also, like, it just, like, get over it. Like, it is the reality, and we should, um but whatever. I don't know. I feel like I didn't fully finish any of those sentences I was just saying. Yeah, no, I can't do virtual stuff. For people who can, respect, good for them. But like, yeah, that's just not my it's not my thing. Um, but yeah, the whole like influencer thing. I mean, part of my issue is that I think I've actually talked about this before, is that I don't like the idea of being an influencer. And I'm aware, and that's part of the reason that I like don't want part of the reason I don't want like a young audience is because like I don't want to have um like I don't want to have that sort of um thing hanging over me, feeling like, oh no, am I being a good role model for children or whatever? Um and like, you know, influencing people to watch a movie doesn't uh I mean, yeah, Aaron, to the point, again, I live in a small apartment and like, you know, um you're you can't talk about people you live with. And it's not to say like, oh no, my girlfriend and I are having problems or whatever, but like, you know, um theoretic, you want to be able to talk freely about, your existence. And like you can't do that when you live in an apartment that's like this. Even if, she puts in headphones and doesn't listen, it still just like feels different, you know? So yeah. Um Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I mean, that's true with schooling. It's true with everything. Like, there are certain people who thrive in, um, you know, I, thrive in virtual environments, and then there are people who don't. Um, and like the people who have heavier needs are like being totally fucked by this whole thing. Um, and I'm glad that things are finally starting to come back in a more serious way. Um, and I think the way things are going, it really does feel like summer by summer things will turn around, at least here. I've been thinking since like November that July seemed like around July seemed like the time that things would be not necessarily normal, but like much closer um, to that. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's been a lot. Um, but yeah, I don't want to be an influencer because I'm weak and don't want to have that responsibility, frankly. Um, so so that's fun. Um, and like, if I had a large audience, I would feel the responsibility, unlike someone like, for example, Jake Paul, who like just doesn't give a shit. Um, I would feel a specific like, oh, I need to yeah, I need to be a role model. I have not lost any um subscribers um during this, and that's very strange. I did lose a few yesterday though to the new video. So, I don't know. Yeah, COVID numbers in New York are definitely calm. So, case numbers, like everything is down in the US, but deaths are especially down because the older people, the people who are more likely to die have been the ones getting vaccinated. So like even though people are still getting sick, um it's way less, like most of the cases are much less serious. So it's just not real, like it's, and obviously everyone needs to be careful. There's, uh, you know, Aaron 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 Solomon, like, you know, personally, created the South African strain, I assume, and then, is the reason that all of us are now terrified to leave again. Um, uh, yeah, like I think about bread tubes specifically. Like I think that up to a point, I could fit in with that, but there's like a specific, um, yeah, or my like in certain areas, it's like people in their 50s are now frequently getting, getting them. Like a lot of, uh, I think something like, I don't know, like 15% of the population has it, but like the big thing is like nursing homes got it like first. Like nursing homes and like frontline personnel got it. Um and like so deaths at um like nursing homes are down like 60 to 80% or something. Like it's a massive thing. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's marketing yourself is awkward as fuck. Really? That's funny. ContraPoints is great. I know that we talk about her pretty much every video. Um Abby is releasing her first full video as Abby soon on Philosophy Tube, which I'm looking forward to. So the thing about the AstraZeneca vaccine, and this is I was reading that like the AstraZeneca vaccine is kind of like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, is less effective at stopping people from getting COVID, but the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at least has a 100% like more like survival rate or whatever. Like they gave it to 20,000 people and none of them died. Like a bunch of people got got the vaccine and none of them died, and actually none of them got hospitalized. Like a lot of, a higher number of people got it, but like it's just, whatever, it doesn't like, and it seems like they didn't, like it's not clear to me that South Africa waited to see if the AstraZeneca vaccine was stopping people from dying. Um because ultimately that's all that really matters. Like it doesn't need to stop people from getting sick. It needs to stop people from getting killed. Um Maybe. Um but yeah, I mean, I think like I've definitely said before that, like, I low key want to be like, I will feel like I accomplished something if someone makes like a takedown of RedTube. Um um like I'll know I made it if like someone puts me in like the thumbnail of like a bread tube left tube takedown or something. Um but honestly, I'm just not, I remember, so this is not to hate on, okay, here's the thing that I'm about to get canceled for. Oh, ContraPoints has a, literally 100-minute long video about her cancellation. It's a genuinely really good video. Um, but I just wanna make a point about Philosophy Tube. Um, while Abby was presenting as a man, she said that she did a good job being straight, and that was the first time I realized that she wasn't gay. So I just like a gay man. So I think I think she just like doesn't have a great straight dar. So I was like, that's uh and it could be like a European thing. Um, European dress is definitely like masculine dress is definitely more feminine than American masculine dress. But I remember seeing that and being like, "Wait, really? Is that what that's saying?" Um, so yeah, there's my thing for getting canceled today. Um, but I just remember finding that kind of odd. Um, I mean, but being really into acting is in and of itself a sign for a lot of people. Like so many people have thought I'm gay. Um, like you need to sort of actively move in the other direction to get past that base assumption. And like, absolutely nothing about Abby ever gave off like manly vibes. I don't know. And that's not a bad thing. Like being manly isn't really good. I mean, dude, I've got so much fucking, you know, toxic bullshit in me, right? Like what the only reason you started watching this channel is because you thought I was gay. Um, I've got like lots of problems. Right. And like I would very much like to sort of work through some of them and I have to figure out like what the way um you know, I have to like figure out the way to like um which part of this? I don't remember what I even said. Um but I'm uh hello. Um but yeah, point is the person I dated for all of college and then like a year, I really don't mention my girlfriend that often. I mention her maybe once every like 8 to 12 videos. Um, um, yeah, I don't mention her that much. Maybe 8 to 10. 5 to 10. I don't know, whatever. Definitely not that often. Um, it's the Dean show with that alleged rapist. Uh, the Dean show. Oh, it's not. um, no, I thought that was James Dean. Um, yeah, Danielle has appeared in two videos very briefly, one slightly longer than the other. Um, actually, no, three. She's in three videos technically, but you only see a silhouette in one of them, and also her wearing one of my boots. She's in the she plays like the shadow in the um first part of my I Can't See review, which is great. Um and then also she like puts a boot against my face in that video. In the Iceland video, the final shot is just the two of us eating breakfast. Um, and then in I'm thinking of ending things, obviously appears for a very brief aside. Um, Wearing my glasses and one of my shirts. So I was actually standing on my roof, not wearing a shirt because I just like gave her my shirt for like the 5 minutes that we were doing that little aside. So that's fun fact. If you lived next to me, you would have been like, "Oh, seriously, this fucking loser." Um, so yeah, that's a fun fact about me. Uh, but yeah, okay, yeah, I don't know what the Dean show is. Um, oh, it's about jujitsu. That doesn't sound like. Uh, um, yeah, but point is, uh, I'm a big gross toxic man who will never be on left tube because frankly I'm not um um I'm not woke enough, right? Like or rather I'm like actively unwoke in like very specific ways that I just feel like if I were actually like if my audience were actually to like expand to like, 50,000 folks who like just purely watch breadtube content and like come to my channel, I am fairly confident that a lot of them would low key hate me and then cancel me. And like, whatever. If breadtube fans cancel me, like I don't like what so what? Like you know, but also hate mobs suck. I've been the subject of one. I talked about this in my my Assassination Nation review. Like I've been the subject of a hate mob and it is not fun fucking at all. Hey, witty name here 1443. You have way more TikTok followers than I do, so please tell your TikTok followers to listen to my song. Um hell yeah. Um Fun fact, witty name here is I think the third person who I like actively know what she looks like in this here thing because I watched TikTok and I was like, "Oh, okay. So that's what she looks like." Fun fact. Um I know what Quasi looks like, I know what Willow looks like, and now I know what witty name here 1443 looks like. And then I know what myself looks like, obviously. Well, and um but yeah, um I don't really want to get canceled by BreadTube, even though I don't feel like it would have any like serious effect on my life. Um, yeah, there's a really interesting book called um, "So You've Been Publicly Shamed" by John Ronson, which I highly recommend folks read. Um, but the the problem is, so someone commented yesterday, 2 days ago, on one of my videos, and it was like, for someone who reviews things, you really can't take criticism, can you? And I said, accurate. But the thing is, it's like what people call criticism is not criticism. Like they're just like being jerks, right? Like telling me that you think like telling me that you think I'm dumb or whatever is like, you can say that, that's fine, but that's not like criticism, right? Like that's just being mean. And so when people are mean to me, I'm mean back, right? Like and that's just sort of my vibe. Um but people seem to not understand the um people seem to not understand sort of the cumulative effect. It's like, yeah, sure. If one person says something that's sort of like on the cusp in one video and then I like go off on them, someone who looks in a vacuum at that video is like, man, this guy can't take criticism or whatever. But like, if you look into the YouTube studio and you see the number of people who actually say mean shit to me and like the level of vitriol I get, like what's in the thumbnail of this video, it's like the fact that I tend to react pretty intensely makes more sense. Right. And it's like, you can't, like, none of this stuff exists in a vacuum. Um, and that's, you're not going to be able to post a link, because like links are banned. Um, put it in a comment on this video. Oh wait, links are banned there too. I can unmoderate the link there. I just like banned links by default because I don't want people self-promoting here. Hell yeah. Um, cancel culture. Who's afraid of an online mob? I will add this to my list. Um, man, dog, fam. Yeah, no, honestly, I posted about my song on TikTok and I got 2 mean comments and I was like, oof, like already, like that hurt just like in and of itself. I was like, oof, that's brutal. Um, so, it definitely is. Cancel culture fear of the mob is what it is called. Um, yeah, fear of the mob. Um, yeah, we were talking about online shaming and the fact that I don't actually want to be part of BreadTube because I just like couldn't fucking deal with the inevitable cancellation that would result from that. So yeah, no, it's you know, um, yeah, and ultimately it's just like whatever. And I have a fairly thick skin at this point. Like very few things that people say on YouTube like actually like hurt me in any meaningful way. Um, people insulting that song hurts a little bit more because it's more directly personal. Um, although, uh, it's um, interesting. Um, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll watch this one. I found the Wrong Turn movies really. I've seen like 4 of them because I used to like attend like a horror live stream thing, and they would just like show a bunch of them, and so I think I watched like 4 of the Wrong Turn movies through that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I don't know. that's an intense thing to come into. Damn. Yeah, that would be. I mean, people are just very entitled and they think that their opinion matters. I mean, I clearly think my opinion matters. Um, yeah, I don't like and like I don't care if people insult my values. I don't care if people insult my opinions because the people who insult my opinions are wrong because all of my opinions are correct all the time, always. Um, the stuff that hurts actually is people who are dismissive. That's the kind, like, that gets me in a way that that like an active insult doesn't, right? Like someone who's just like, eh, this, like, that ain't it, chief. It's like that hurts in a different way. Like I would rather someone actively hate me than be completely indifferent, you know? Like indifference feels more savage, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's just like whatever. Like I'm over you as a person. You know, like yeah, I I mean, because a lot of people just like don't. Um, yeah, I mean, I get my a lot of the hate. Um, um, oh yeah, a lot of people hate that review. Um, Yeah, I mean, most of my hate comes from a single review that people just like really don't fucking like, which is like that's fine, but also, who cares? Like, you know, people keep like someone was like, "Ugh, people getting on this whatever train." I was like, "This video is 2 years old." Like I'm not getting on any train. Like you're just you're getting on my train like, and we've already hit fucking Siberia or whatever. Like what are you talking about? um People just like don't look at the day, like at when shit got uploaded, so they don't realize that like, oh, this is actually like a really old video. um Thank you. um I mean, I try to make good points, right? Like um but yeah, I mean, fortunately I am fairly, at this point, fairly thick-skinned regardless of how I come across. Like I probably seem more thin-skinned than I actually am. Um like I'm definitely not bulletproof. Um like I'm definitely not, Teflon or whatever, but like it's I a lot of most of the kinds of insults that people actually make um aren't. Oh yeah, no, people don't like the way I talk. That's actually, that's the stuff that bothers me the least. Um, just because I mean, that would have bothered me more in the past, but I'm much more confident in the way I look. And honestly, actually the fact that I, don't look bad with my shirt off is part of the reason that I am, like if yeah. Um yeah, exactly. Um and I used to hate the way I look a lot. I actually have an entire fucking song about it that, because I have like my little notebook of like the songs that I was writing, and like one of my sad songs was specifically about like body dysmorphia stuff. Um and I mentioned that I was, working on a short film about that. Um, um, and so that's that yeah, and the way I talk is just the way I talk. Like, I don't like the way some other people talk, for damn sure, but I just like stop watching their videos when I don't like the way they talk. Um, yeah, we've been on to new stuff for a while, man. I feel like you're just like super on a delayed stream. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, whatever. The only people who have really been seriously canceled are the Dixie Chicks. And um, you know, that's all that needs to be said about that. The yeah, I don't know. What was I talking about? Um all right, just how good looking I am. uh the Dixie Chicks came back. They released a song pretty recently. I have not seen Kid Detective. I don't even know what that is. Um well, Gary Glitter is a predator, right? Like that's not the same thing. Like the Dixie Chicks said that they didn't support George Bush, and then um, like that, like they got canceled for that. Like, you know, someone someone being a predator and then not being able to work again, that's not being canceled. That's that's facing consequences for your actions. Um, oh, interesting. Yeah, I have not seen it. What's it on? Um, I was looking back at the playlists for my one man's show, and the first one, the last song on the playlist is All You Had to Do Was Stay by Taylor Swift. And it made me very excited for when she re-records 1989, because I am looking forward to um yeah, totally, for sure. Um well, Quasi, not his, like, the people who canceled the Dixie Chicks probably still think George Bush was a good president. Um, The Good Place is so good. I was going to review the finale, and then I just like couldn't. Like I was going to review the finale of The Good Place and the finale of BoJack Horseman, which happened at like the same time, and I just like I couldn't get into the right headspace to talk about either of those. Um, it's just like so much going on. Is intense. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm out of things to say, which means it is time for me to perform my rap song live for the studio audience, and then we'll go. Sound good? Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So it's not getting picked up. Okay. So the series finale of The Good Place made me cry twice. Um. Okay. Let me find. I'm just gonna sing along to it. That's just how we're gonna do it. Instead of, as much as I would rather do it differently, we're just gonna do it this way. I've lost all sense to tell if the prescriptions are working. Orange bottles filled with pills and shelves to make me stop hurting. I am learning every day, feeling exactly the same way. What else is left to say? Maybe I get what I'm deserving. Time is pressed into my back like a knife, pushing me into a starless night. Regardless if I'm thinking right, the darkness suffocates. My breathing gets tight, got no senses to fight. I reach out blindly without finding anything that might return my light, but that seems unacceptable when I am looking at my lot. Contemptible even for someone who was born with what I got. To pass up the opportunity put unto me, did I miss the shot and slap the face of those that society never gives a spot? Taught to be the protagonist, but I'm clearly off the path. Thought to just be adequate and barely manage that. Want to be compassionate, but I'm not sure what that takes when I am caught in this paralysis. I've lost myself to fakes. Yeah, a privileged upbringing that fucks with your head when your head is fucked up already. Because you've seen all the good things, what they should bring. How the fuck are you not happy? And you don't know what you care, so you have to grin and bear it while internalizing hatred, but where you can't share it. So you just stare in the full-length mirror, judging every glowing flaw to your cluster to tear it. How dare I think this song, My Stress, is anything but worthless? I confess I'm depressed and I've wrestled with the best method of expressing my mess. I get why white sadness is left for comedy. Frankly, it ought to be like, what kind of wannabe Tom McDonald project do I gotta be to say this unironically honestly past the point of apology? But I'm still sorry. But should I be? What am I even using for? For being me? I don't know what to do anymore. It's exhausting every time I gotta tell someone I'm fine, even though we know I'm lying. But I promise I am trying. I'm not the kind to reach out, locked up in a mind confined, I can't shout. So in this guise of mine, you hear now, I'm expressing the cries that I have played down the way. And know how life is hard when your brain fucking hates you. The punishment, it wants to face you until there's nothing left but the late you. But you can't let that shit overtake you. As much as I've wanted to give into madness, trip all thoughts that haunt me, I know how it happens. The voices are calling, I can hear them laughing, but that's not how this story ends. I'm not cracking. So yeah, that's my song. Yeah. So yeah, hope it's available on Spotify and Apple Music and all those other things if you want to listen to it. I think it's good. I've been listening, I listen to it. I like it. Um but now you have a general sense of the vibe I was saying those lines with when I was recording it. So, yeah. So that's fun. Okay. Yeah. Quite the. Thank you everyone for coming out. As always, should be doing this again in 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, should be. Yeah, it gets kind of complicated after that because I'm moving, as I said, but we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do one during the week that people in Europe might not be able to come to, but the people in South America could. So we'll figure it out. In any case, take care, everyone. Have a right. So yeah. I have multiple people compare me to MGK, which is kind of interesting regardless. Yeah. So take care. So, always very, very nice doing these things with all y'all. Y'all are great. So bye.